new year brings changes and challenges, and no challenge in motorsports is as grueling as Dakar. For the third year, Dakar and Rebellion Racing will run this marathon event in Saudi Arabia. Jeddah is the starting off point, and King Abdullah Stadium is the backdrop for the first bivouac, where teams gather and prep their vehicles before the 2 weeks and thousands of kilometers of racing and attrition in the Saudi desert.
At one point I said, okay, I have to do it now, I will never do it again. So the first year my expectation was to do at least one stage. Then I saw that I can do 2, then 3, then 4, and then I finished. So the achievement for me was incredible. The year after, I wanted to finish again, but I rolled the car at stage 9, so I didn't finish. So my expectation on this Dakar is to finish. I mean, I have no expectation to do better than I did the first time.
Rebellion Racing, with team owner and driver Alex Pesci and RD Limited team boss and driver Romain Dumas, are running the rally raid with their own version of a modified Peugeot DKR, the Rebellion DXX.
And then we changed the engine because we didn't want to use a V6 turbo diesel engine because it was way too complicated. So we decided to use a Ford Mustang engine. We didn't change. We changed the chassis a little bit. It has been increased by 6 centimeters because the engine is longer than the Peugeot engine. We changed the rear suspension system to have it more adjustable. And we changed the shock absorbers, but all the rest is from Peugeot, the safety cell, the roll cage, and everything else is the gearbox is from Sadev, but it is exactly the same as in the Peugeot.
Despite the advantages of a tried and true platform, the challenge of Dakar is immense.
So for sure this is the biggest challenge, harder than in Pikes Peak because Dakar is 2 weeks and with a lot of complicated roads that you cannot simulate, with the sand, with the temperature, with the rocks and so on. We are practicing during the year in Morocco mainly, but it's never as hard or similar that it's here in Dakar during this 2 weeks event.
So mentally it's quite challenging as well, and you learn that you are capable of going over what your limits are.
These challenges are ever present, and in 2022, the biggest setback for Team Rebellion happened even before the rally began. On Shakedown Day, only a few kilometers into testing, tragedy struck car 251 of Alex Pesci and Stefan Cooney. The complete destruction of the race car means the true cause of failure will never be known. But most importantly, the driver and co-driver moved quickly and were able to avoid any injury. A complete disaster for Team Rebellion. Until...
Basically, it's a miracle. I think it's a miracle because this normally never happens. But we managed to have a very good friend that loves Rebellion, and his name is Nasser Atia. He's a gentleman. He sent his car during the night, last night, to Jeddah, because he was about to send it to his private museum in Europe. But he said, okay, you can have my car, no problem. I'm your friend. You will do the same for me one day probably, so I will send you the car. And then we got the car, I think, at 6 in the morning.
After a mad scramble to rebadge and prep the car overnight, the fury of Dakar could begin with Romain Dumas handing over his DXX to the team boss and picking up driving duties with the Toyota.
prologue was quite difficult, much more difficult than last year. It was very sandy with a lot of dunes. The car ran faultlessly. It was really good to drive, and after what happened 2 days ago, I'm very happy that the car was very good today. It's the best thing, I think, it's that I found my mark again, so I know I didn't lose anything. Because after I had some times of doubt after what happened 2 days ago when the car caught fire. So I was a little bit shocked, let's say, and now I know that all the driving is coming back again, so it's no problem. The prologue was already a lot more difficult than last year, so I think they stepped up a little bit the difficulty of the Dakar.
After the brief first stage, the race got into full swing, but not without issues.
Our third stage was quite a bit longer than we supposed to be because we broke the half axle, rear half axle. So we have to change this piece. Luckily we had one on spare on the car. So it's about the 20-25 minutes work. And the wheels in the air, the wheel spin, that it's stopped immediately when you fall down, that this half axle was broken. He wasn't the only team with this problem.
Unfortunately for Romain, the not-so-fresh Hilux from Al Attiyah was having its own issues as well. After its temporary retirement, the mad scramble to bring the car to Jeddah prevented a full prep, and transmission hiccups turned into a more serious issue early into Stage 3. Against hope, the team would search for spare parts in the bivouac for the next few days. The race also continued to deteriorate for the DXX as well, with the entire field facing the wrath of the unusually wet conditions on the way to Riyadh.
So it was quite a challenging day yesterday for us. Everything went well until the 3/4 of the stage, but the last quarter was a disaster. The rear suspension broke on the left side. We had to change it. Our truck was far away, about 2 hours from us. So we could not wait the truck to come, and so we started to do the change. It took quite a long time, maybe 1 hour and a half. We got stuck because on the left side there was a car stuck, so I had to go on the right side, and we ended up stuck. So we were waiting for our truck to arrive. It arrived maybe 20 minutes after, and it pulled us out, and then we continue slowly to the end.
As annoying as they are, it is the trials and tribulations of these cross-country races that test the ever-important relationship of driver and co-driver.
And when he came, I said, "Can you look at my teeth? I have a problem." But in fact, it was not true. So I said, "Okay, do you want to do the Dakar with me?" And he said, "Yeah, of course." And you need to have a good navigator, because you can go fast, but if you get lost, you lose time. So it's really a pair, because it looks like the navigator does nothing, but in reality is an integral part of the equation. So you need to have an average driver and a good navigator, and you are good to go.
You never know where you are really. You just follow left, right, this cap, and you move on like this.
For me, it's an ideal navigator, because if I had a nervous guy on my side, I cannot do it. So no, it's very calm and professional.
Even last year we make a big rollover. We had no time to be scared. It goes too quickly. But in general also, Alex is a very careful and good driver, so I'm not really in a nervous situation. Perhaps more for me stressing is to find the right track, and to be on the good track in the right positions.
After an axle and suspension replacement on course over the last 2 stages, the stresses of the terrain worked their way up the driveline to the transmission, forcing Alex and Stefan to spend hundreds of kilometers in the dust behind their support truck.
Yeah, stage 5, what happened yesterday in stage 5, we had an issue about 60 kilometers from the start. We broke the gearbox, so we had to wait that the truck came behind us, and they told us for the rest of the stage, you can miss 40% of the waypoints, and still, as long as you are towed by a truck that is entered as well in the race, and you made it to the finish line, then it's okay. So it's not really interesting to see the back of a truck for so long, but at least we managed to finish, to cross the line, so we are still in the race.
A late arrival after a long tow, and the mechanics and engineers dive into their prep with complete intensity and purpose. Dakar may only include 2 people in the car, but it is truly a team effort.
So when it comes in, we check for tightness all around. Every ball joint that we have, check for play on it. Cooling radiators, we have to clean them out, check them out if they have any pressure leaks. Inflation compressor lines, the jacks that they have to help them out on the sand. All the mechanisms in the car get fully rehauled. Everything gets checked, levels topped up, and then that goes at around 4 hours of service. So the car leaves, let's say at 9 a.m. in the morning, then the car leaves, then all the trucks and all the support cars have to drive to the next bivouac, the setup. If we're moving again the next day, as we finish the prep of the car, as the car leaves to go for a road test, we take everything down, load the trucks, and get ready to go again for the next bivouac. So let's say normal arrival time is around 8 p.m. So if you put 4 hours of normal service into it, we're gonna stop at midnight. Sometimes it goes into 1, 2, and sometimes we have to stop automatically because the trucks have to leave to get in time to the next bivouac. So sometimes we're still working on the car and the trucks are leaving because they have to be there in time to set up when the car arrives the next day. This operation does not work without every single member of it. As the car comes in, everyone knows who does the front jack, who does the rear jack, who does the stands, who jumps on the gearbox, who jumps on the clutch, who jumps on the cockpit to service the car. The engineers go debrief the drivers for any issues we had during the stage.
At the halfway point, after stage 6, all the teams are awarded with a rest day. The mechanics will do a complete refresh of the car with their extra time, and most competitors will stay around the bivouac, a literal moving city comprised of pits, restrooms, mess hall, medical, logistic, and media facilities. The scale and organization required to move thousands of people and hundreds of vehicles around one of the most inhospitable deserts on the planet is nothing short of remarkable. Rebellion is unique also in that Alex has brought with him many of his friends from Switzerland to share in the adventure of Dakar.
I would not do the rally by myself, only with Stefan and myself, and be alone in the evening, so I like to bring along friends. I did the same when we were racing in the World Enduro Championship. We were the only team basically with friends and guests during the races, because I think it's, it's sharing. I would like to share the experience as well, because we never have the chance to race at Dakar, but I would like at least to share a part of the experience.
After days of searching and little to show for it, the team finally decided to throw in the towel on the Hilux. The ups and downs were evident on the faces of all in the team, particularly Romain.
And we didn't know, I didn't know, I could directly feel that the car was not, for sure, really fresh, but first of all, it was a good chance to get this car. And at the end of the day, unfortunately, the gearbox broke on the third day, the third stage. So was not for sure a lot of practice. But at the end, I'm convinced, it was a great opportunity already to see, what can be a real factory car. Unfortunately, it was too short.
Fortunately, after the rest day, the issues with car 251 seemed to subside, as Alex and Stefan had trouble-free running for more than 1,000 kilometers.
I'm a little bit afraid of tomorrow, because tomorrow is the 9th stage. and this is when I retired last year because of rolling the car. So I hope that we could make it safely back to the bivouac.
Alex had nothing to worry about, with the Stage 9 curse being fully vanquished after another smooth day on course. With the crew working flawlessly and the support of everyone at the Rebellion Caravan, Car 251 ticked off the kilometers in their march toward completing the 2022 Dakar. But anything can happen in racing, and the desert can be a particularly cruel mistress.
Tomorrow is the last stage, and today I think they try to break the last survivors of the Dakar, to break the cars, to break the drivers, because it was really shaky and difficult. One more stage tomorrow is going to be the last one. I think I will slow down a little bit, because the goal now is not to go better in the classification, but it's just to arrive and to get the medal of the finisher. It's if I can finish tomorrow and go on the podium and get the medal, it's a personal achievement for me.
We are here to drive, we want to drive. This is our target all the time. And you know, it's like when you are doing Le Mans, it's only one time per year. So if you fail, unfortunately, you have to wait one more year. So it's a little bit in one side, a little bit sad. You know, each year when we leave on the last day, we always said, that was the last one, it's too complicated, too difficult. Some weeks later, I get again the motivation, so we'll see.
Success and redemption start with a dream of overcoming the odds. The Saudi desert gave all the teams of the 2022 Dakar every conceivable obstacle to conquer, but persistence paid off, and after more than 8,000 kilometers, Team Rebellion rolled onto the podium. Success is fickle, however, and that is never more obvious than to a finisher of the legendary Dakar Rally.
You need 8,000 kilometers to win the Dakar, but you need just 1 meter to lose it.